Hey there guys and girls, welcome to a new tutorial. Today I want to show you how I edited a Milky Way shot using two exposures. I wanted to try something new, so I picked up my friend and we stopped at this gas station to buy some water because we were going to stay a few hours taking shots of the stars. And what I wanted to try is I wanted to use my car and have the headlights trails on the image along with the Milky Way. So we headed up to the mountain where we found a nice location. We set up our cameras and tripods and started taking pictures of the Milky Way. So I hope you will like this tutorial, and let's get started. Okay, so we are here in Lightroom, and these are all the images that I took that night, and we're just going to work with these two images. Okay, I just want to show you some other shots that I took, test shots. This is another nice image that I took of my friend standing there in the middle of the road watching the Milky Way, and some other test shots. I tried to take a panorama, but it didn't really work that well. So we will work with these two images. Now you can see that I took two other images. This is the first one, and this is the second one. My initial plan was to take one single shot and have the car here and have good exposure on the sky, but apparently it was impossible, and that's because in order to have the Milky Way visible you have to use a high ISO. I used 640, usually it's past 800 at least in my case, in order to see the Milky Way. So I used the high ISO, even lower than I would usually do, but you can see the car headlights actually are burning the surroundings here. It's too bright. Okay, so I was coming down with the car from, well, here on this band here, and took a look at the image, and I saw that it was too burnt. So what I decided is that I would lower the ISO. You can see I lowered it from 640 to ISO 100, and I also increased a bit the f number from 2.8 to 3.5, and I kept the same exposure time to 30 seconds. Okay, so what I did is I went for two shots and a double exposure, and then just merged that in Photoshop, and that's what we're going to do now. The first thing we want to do is start editing this image. Now we have nice headlight trails here. If I zoom in, you can see they are still burnt, but the surroundings are well lit, even too underexposed. I should have used an f2.8 maybe, but we can save these. Also, the second image is quite underexposed. I should have used a higher ISO, maybe increase a bit the exposure time, but anyways, we can save it because we are working on a 14 bits raw file, so we can save it. The first thing I want to do is increase a bit the exposure. I know that these are, as I said, are already burnt, but it doesn't matter. I'm just increasing a bit the exposure, not too much, 0.40. And also the shadows you can see. Let's see what we can do with the clarity. Yeah, you can see with the clarity we also add a bit more definition to the image. Also look at the zoomed image and zoom out just to see everything. Check the details. We have some chromatic aberrations which we will fix, and that's okay. Probably increase a bit the vibrance, not too much, and a bit the saturation. And let's see what we can do. I will not touch the highlights because we will start to get really, oops, that was the exposure. We'll start to get nasty effects. I just want to keep that to 0. Whites, let's see what we can do with the whites. It's just affecting the headlights, those light trails there, so we're not going to touch that. And with the blacks we can make the whole thing a bit brighter. I'm just gonna raise it to +10. Now you can also touch the curves if you want to make things brighter or darker from here. I'll probably do something like this. This is up to what you like, to your taste as well, so don't worry too much about the exact settings that I'm using here. Now let's go down here to the HSL, because there's one thing that I don't like, and that's this red here. It's a bit too strong for my taste, so I'm going to the HSL here, and here the good thing is that you can work with the luminance and the saturation. By the way, one thing that I didn't mention is that if you don't have Lightroom, you can edit this in Photoshop Camera Raw, so you have exactly the same settings that I'm using here in Lightroom. So here in the luminance, you can increase the light there, or you can desaturate those reds only. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a -14. Let's see what we have here on these oranges. That's okay, and probably, let's see, that's nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna touch that too much. Let's go down here on the bottom, and where it says lens correction, then I'll go to the color tab, and here I'll choose, I'll activate this remove chromatic aberrations, and I'll take a look here and see if it removes this purple tone here. Yep, it did a pretty good job. Also here on the lights, you can see that on the edges, but you can also push this a little further using this controllers here, and also here on the green as well, something like that. Be careful not to change this range, because you don't want to remove the green part from the trees, as you can see right there. So keep that in mind. Okay, see the tops of the tree, the tips here, the top part of the trees. I removed too much of that green, so I'm gonna pull it back a bit. Okay, now this looks a lot better. If I deactivate that, you can see the chromatic aberrations. Now it's just gray, as it should be. Okay, now we're not going to edit the top part, because that's why you have this second image. Okay, you can see that here. If I'll just increase the exposure a lot, you can see my car is parked here, so we're not going to use this bottom part anyways. Okay, we're increasing the exposure to about 1, and let's see the clarity. If you bump the clarity, you get more definition on the Milky Way, but you also get a lot more stars. I don't like that necessarily. I'll use a negative clarity. I'll bump the vibrance and the saturation. Now the white balance is kind of off here. I left the white balance to auto because I wanted to touch it here in Lightroom and not on the camera. So what I will do is make it a bit colder, and I'll remove some of that green tint by moving this towards the magenta. Not much, something like that. Let's see if we increase the contrast, and with the curves here a bit, let's touch the curves. That's better. And let's see if we can change the point curve to medium contrast or strong contrast just to see what we get. You can also activate these points here to have a different kind of controls here, but let's leave it on. Let's leave that option off as it was. Okay, I don't necessarily like this yellow here, so I could probably go to the HSL as well here, right here, and change maybe the luminance of this, make it a bit darker, and change the hue. You can also change the hue, so you can see it's almost orange. I can make it green if I want, or I can make it more reddish. I don't want to touch it really that much. I want to keep it as natural as possible, but at some point you always go a bit over the edge, because it's really easy to have something nice and colorful, so it's not really that natural. Let's see the noise reduction. I should have taken a dark frame, but I deleted accidentally after I took the well, after I moved the tripod, I thought it was a badly exposed image, and I actually deleted the dark frame. But anyways, let's take a look here at the stars, see how that looks. Chromatic aberrations here as well, so let's check that too. Remove the chromatic aberrations as much as possible. Probably I would increase the blacks, well, make them a bit darker, and increase the whites. That's kind of contrasty for my taste. Something like that. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it like that, and we're gonna finish this in Photoshop. So what I will do now is click here and then right click and choose edit in Photoshop. Okay, so we have the first image in Photoshop. Let's go to the other one, right click, edit in Photoshop CS6. Notice that I did not crop anything here because I want to have the original size of the image. Even so, I think the tripod moved slightly. We'll see right now. Yeah, just a couple of pixels. Okay, we're good to go now. Both images are aligned, and what we're going to do now is create a sky. This is the sky layer, and the bottom one is the foreground. Now I'm gonna create a layer mask for the sky layer. I'm gonna get the quick selection tool. Instead of taking two shots, next time I will try the double exposure mode on the camera, and that way maybe I can take one shot that's exposed for the sky, have the Milky Way and everything, and then modify the settings, the ISO and everything, and take a second shot for this bottom part here, and then the camera blends both images. But I didn't try it yet, so maybe I'll do that in the future, and maybe I'll try it. So I made this quick selection here, and I'll fill this with black. Of course, I have to invert the layer mask by pressing Ctrl+I. You can see we already have a better exposed sky, and the layer mask here, have to be careful here and see if we can fix this. Oh, have to paint with white, sorry. Like that. Okay, and that's good. Right here as well, and this part of the trees here. Great. Now we have, you can see it was quite easy because we have this dark edge here. Now we have both images merged, and the only thing we have left to do is make a few more edits here. I see a lot of blue on the top part. What I want to do next is maybe add some curves that will only affect the sky. So I'm gonna clip this to the sky layer. I'm going inside the channels and see if I can add a bit of blue to the highlights. That's too much around here, maybe. Something like that, and let's see on the greens and reds. Okay, and I don't want to make the changes too visible here. I don't want to have this too blue and this, because otherwise they don't blend. So I'll probably add another curves adjustment here, or maybe a color balance. Let's see how the color balance works. And on the shadows we will add a bit of blue and a bit of cyan, Now I don't remember the exact color settings that I used on the original image, but something like this. And on the highlights, probably a bit of yellow and a bit of red. You can see it makes a quite nice change to the image. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Now the Milky Way, if you want to see it more visible, you can do it in Lightroom, increasing the clarity, but for my taste, that's okay. And let's see a color lookup maybe, and trying different things and blend modes and see how that works. I don't like this. Let's try late sunset. That's okay. With the color dodge, you increase the highlights and everything, though this is too strong. Let's try soft light. I don't like it. So just a matter of trying things here, settings and everything. Gray tone, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like this. Let's try a gradient map. You can see black and white also looks nice. Overlay is too strong. Let's try color dodge again and decrease the opacity of it. Color dodge looks nice at 30%. It burns a bit these highlights, so I could probably use this layer mask and paint with 50% opacity and just get rid of some of the effects here, like so. See that? And that makes it look a little better. Okay, now you can add more color stuff, but I don't think I want to do that. Let's try one thing, solid color, and choose the exclusion blend mode that we used on, that I sometimes use on manipulations. You can see, get this weird tone here. The more you go towards the black, the less effect you get. And if you're really saturated, you can see the kind of effect that you get. But I like it a bit more like this. And that's it, just a touch of it. And I'm gonna merge both images now with Shift Control Alt and E, and create a duplicate just in case. And I go to sharpen, and I'm gonna use the Smart Sharpen for this. Let's see. For the highlights, we're gonna first we have to take a look at the stars. Okay, we want a great tonal width and a big fade amount. The sharpen is too much, and also the radius is too high. It's too big tonal width here on the shadows, that's okay. And maybe increase the radius a bit, like so. And I think I will leave it like that. Let's take a look at 100%. See the difference between this and the bottom image. Yeah, it looks a bit better. You can also use plugins if you have. I think I use the denoise plugin from Topaz Labs, but it's not necessary because this image is really huge. It's 4000 by 6000. Let's make it smaller, 2000 pixels wide. That way we can use it as a wallpaper on a computer. Okay, see, now it looks a lot better. Most of the noise is gone now. I could apply the Smart Sharpen again and then use the fade effect. Go to edit, fade, Smart Sharpen, and reduce it to about 60%. And you can see how this looks now. You could add other gradient maps, more colorful gradient maps, and choose, let's say, tone or hue or something like that, and drop the opacity, and you can create some really weird color effects. But as I said, I want to keep things fairly natural. Screen is not nice. Color dodge is too colorful. Overlay, it's too contrasty. To about 4% only. And probably the last thing that I would do is add a curves on top of everything. Probably make a soft split tone effect, not really noticeable. And here on the RGB, just bump the overall light of the image. And also the shadows, I don't want to make it too contrasty, as I said. The light a bit higher up, like so. And I think I would leave it like this. I don't know if I would make things too complicated, and I think it looks nice anyways. So well, that's all. That's how I edited this image. I hope you liked it. I hope you like my photographs, and stay tuned for more tutorials. I'm Andrei from PSD Box, and see you on the next tutorial.